and the international community of plots by enemies of democracy to frustrate and ultimately disrupt the conduct of the 2023 general elections. We alert Nigerians that in compliance with the directive by the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Bola Tinubu, to his party members to deploy violence and snatch power in the 2023 general elections, the APC, having realized that it has been rejected, has commenced its violent attacks to frustrate the conduct of the elections. Nigerians can recall how the deflated and desperate Asiwaju Tinubu, in a closed-door meeting in London earlier this month, declared to his members that, quote, political power is not going to be served a la carte in a restaurant. It is not served a la carte, it is what we are doing. It means APC. It is being determined. You do it at all cost. You fight for it, you grab it, you snatch it, and run with it, unquote. In response to this directive, APC leaders and members have now activated plots to derail the electoral process through orchestrated violent attack in various states of the country, aimed to trigger a nationwide security emergency situation, instill fear, and make it appear inconducive to conduct election in the country. Part of the plot is the current attack on the facilities of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in various parts of the country, as witnessed in Ogun, Osun, and Imo states, where sections critical to the conduct of elections, particularly those connected to the collection of permanent voters' cards, PVCs, were targeted and destroyed. Also, our party has been made aware of plans by the APC to orchestrate attacks in other states, particularly Kogi and Delta states, some states of the southeast, as well as part of the north, with a view to subverting the electoral process in as many states as possible. Intelligence available to our party indicates that the attacks on INEC facilities to prevent newly registered voters from collecting their PVCs, destroy the PVCs so that they will not be able and available for collection in INEC offices, and thirdly, destroy INEC equipment and cripple its capacity to conduct elections. In addition, the APC has introduced a very disturbing dimension to purchasing PVCs from unsuspecting Nigerians through monetary inducement masquerading as empowerment programs. In any case, our party is not surprised at the resort to violence by Asiwaju Tinubu and the APC. A clear acceptance of electoral defeat, which apparently accounts for the APC's presidential candidate's decision to boycott the signing of the National Peace Accord by presidential candidates in the 2023 general elections. It is apparent and disturbing that the APC presidential candidate has not issued any caution against the many acts of violence linked to members of his party. His body language and comments suggest the condoning of the ongoing violence on our electoral process. Of course, the London meeting with Asiwaju Tinubu directing his party members to unleash violence on Nigerians was a closed-door event which had inadvertently leaked to the public. The aim of the APC was to hit our nation with violence and mislead security agencies to direct their investigation on criminal elements and social restiveness instead of the real culprit, the APC. The design is to create tension across the country, to validate a narrative that elections cannot hold, then orchestrate a constitutional crisis with a view to justify a shifting of the elections and perpetuate certain APC elements in office beyond May 29, 2023. The alarm raised by the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, on several attacks on INEC facility, as widely reported in the media, further confirms our fears. According to the INEC chairman, quote, since the 2019 general elections up to 2022, we have recorded 50 attacks in 15 states of the Federation. But the ones we recorded in 2022, and I want the emphasis over here, the ones we recorded in 2022 are the ones we consider as systematic and coordinated. And these are the ones that are targeted at derailing the preparations of the Commission from conducting a free, fair, transparent, and credible elections. Going further, and I quote, by the chairman of INEC, if these attacks go into January and February, it may be difficult for us to recover from these attacks. This is because if you look at section 133 of the Constitution, it has threshold that a candidate must meet before that candidate can declare winner of any election. I think this is very important. And it's important to let Nigeria and the whole world know this. For emphasis, I would like to just quote section 134 of the Constitution, and I'll read it to you. Section 134 of the 1999 Constitution as amended reads, 134(1), a candidate for an election to the office of president shall be deemed to have been duly elected where there have been only two candidates for the elections. A, he has the majority of votes cast at the election, and B, he has not less than 1/4 of the vote cast at the election in each of at least 2/3 of all the states in the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. I think it's important for us to pause and understand this. It's important to explain this. There are two conditions for you to be declared a winner as president of this country. Number one, you must have secured majority of lawful votes. Second, you must have secured at least 1/4, that's 25%, for the total vote cast in at least 2/3 of the states. So we have 36 states. You must have secured at least 1/4 in 24 states. And then that must have added up to the majority of lawful votes for you to be declared. What it means is this: if we have crisis in more than those states that are allowed to have 2/3, if for instance we have more than 20 states, for instance, or anything below 24, then you can have a president declared. And that is the essence, and that's why it's important for Nigeria and the whole world to know that this orchestrated attack, planning, attacking INEC facilities will be such that number of registered voters and people who cast their vote and their violence all cannot participate in the process. For reason of that disruption, of course you won't be able to hold this election. There is just a plan to ensure that we can then begin to instigate the possible shifting of the electoral process. And of course there will be constitutional crisis. So it is important for Nigerians to understand why, and the import of section 134 that the INEC chairman has read a lamp over, and it's important for all of us to be on the same page on this matter. So it is critical, it's very important. And this is not me speaking, this is the fear expressed by INEC, and we should take it seriously as Nigerians and international community. The PDP therefore allows the security agencies to take immediate steps to investigate and stop the APC on its vicious plot to derail our democratic process. The INEC should immediately invoke its regulatory powers and impose sanctions on the APC presidential candidate for constituting a clear and present danger to the electoral process. Our party also calls on the international community to impose strict sanctions, including travel restrictions on APC leaders found culpable of instigating and encouraging violence in the electoral process. The PDP again demands that President Muhammadu Buhari should call Bola Tinubu and his party members to order, so that Nigerians can peacefully choose their next president through a free Thank you very much for listening.
Good afternoon, honorable MPs, my colleagues. My name is Amaka, and of course I report for Royals News. These are hefty allegations you're actually laying in the foot of the APC. Yes, the destruction to INEC offices across the country is quite worrisome for anyone who's an observer of these elections, but these allegations that you're saying the APC is the one who's carrying it is quite hefty. Beyond the video you talked about, which some would say might not be enough evidence, but what other evidence do you have to back this claim that you reeled out today that APC is the one who's behind the attack on INEC offices? And you are calling on the security agents, but have you laid a formal complaint to them with the evidence that you have? Those are my questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I think this is very interesting that these questions are coming, and it's key. Number one, the allegations that you reference is not what I make up. These are statements made in the public glare, and you saw a connection, an upsurge of attacks. The one in Imo State was very vicious and audacious, and the 3 security agencies were killed on duty, and 3 of the assailants too were killed. You would notice that in crimes, the allegation is connected to a pattern. We reference the fact that the Nigerian Peace Council, because they wanted us to have a free, fair, and credible process, organized a peace accord signing ceremony. The APC president candidate boycotted. No excuse was given. He sent in, although he sent his deputy. But again, Nigerians want a president, not a proxy president. And again, you saw that extended to even the Chatham House debacle and the disgrace that we got and witnessed, where you find someone outsourcing responsibility. On the issue about whether we have taken step, that's the step we're taking here. What is the job of citizen? When you hear something, say something. So we've heard something, we've noticed something, we observed something. So that's why we're calling on the security agencies to please get on, do the job. Because we've heard something and we're saying something. That we have, from all the trajectory of the event that happened in the last couple of months, it is consistent with our pattern. And we have seen upsurge on that. And for INEC chairman to raise that alarm, it means every responsible Nigerian, and particularly PDP, which I consider to be a government in waiting, because that's what Nigerian people are expressing from all campaigns, from all the expression. We must stand in guard for the Nigerian people to call attention to it. So that's what we're doing. We're doing what we're expected to do as a responsible organization and political party to say, yes, we heard something, we're saying something, take action. And that is the duty and the responsibility of citizens and organizations, including our party. So that's what we've done.
Well, calling to take action is one thing, but really laying an accusation is an entirely different ballgame. Like I said earlier, with regards to INEC, they have raised that concern,
yes,
which everyone is aware that that's what's going on. But the fact that you are saying the APC, which it also affects at the end of the day, is responsible for the attacks on the INEC offices, that is what my question is, and I don't think you've been able to answer.
Well, if specifically, if there's an allegation made, not now, we're not just saying this now. When it happened in Ogun State, we addressed the press conference. And there's nobody at the hierarchy of the APC, including its president candidate, there was no condemnation of any sort of the Ogun incident. Similarly in Osun, there's none. To my own record, probably you have. When things happen this way, and you have been accused one way or the other, in law, there's certain things where you say silence almost ensure there's a free, fair, and credible, and commended his efforts so far. Part of that commendation is that there must be obligation. More so if his party members and his presidential candidate was involved in that open call for violence. And I just read it to you for emphasis. It says political power is not going to be served in a restaurant. It is not served a la carte. It is what we are doing. It is being determined. You read at all costs, including violence, all costs. Look at the definition of all costs. Fight for it. Grab it. Snatch it and run with it. In the days of ballot snatching, you snatch it and run with it. That's what he's saying to us. And people are acting on that basis because at his level, he's the national leader of the party. He's the presidential candidate. When he speaks, words have consequences. And part of the consequences for words is that when you are held in that position, found to be encouraging or condoning, then there will be personal liability. And we're just calling on security agents to look into that, investigate that, link the wording to the actions, and see through, because that's their word, that's their job.
Good afternoon, more or less a follow-up to her question.
Yeah.
The PDP says it has members all over the place. When your billboards were pulled down in jobs, arrests were made, people were identified, and there was a conviction. So if you have people all over the country, why is it so hard to identify these people from within your...
What I'm saying here today is a combination of information all over the country. All right? Our job is to alert and to give that information. We don't have power of arrest in that circumstances. Yes, there are, under criminal law, you have personal power of arrest, but of course you are in a country where you understand how it works. Having said that, there have been reports from Lagos State and the news. All we can do, we don't want a state of nature where everybody seeks to help himself. We want rule of law and order. And that's why we're drawing this attention. I think Nigerians will come back to commend PDP for doing this, because what we are expected to do is to draw attention to issues like this, which is of grave concern to the electoral process. And I can tell you that as a party, we're discharging our obligation, and that's why in this statement I said to you, we have intelligence. That's exactly what you expect us to do, and we're doing just that. We're getting the intelligence, we're putting them together from the local for all these activities, and we're trying our best to ensure that we inform the security agencies to do that which is needful, which is act. When you hear something, say something. PDP has heard something, is saying something. That's the number one job of the president at the head of the executive branch. And that's why we're emphasizing this, calling on the president, calling on security agencies, calling on international community, because we need help to ensure that that environment is provided before, during, and after the elections. So we have, it's back to the labs, to the corner, and to the court of the security agencies, and of course Mr. President at the head of it, to ensure that history beckons on him, that he has opportunity to deliver a free, fair, and credible election for this country. So the transition which he benefited from under the PDP, now he can bequeath that to us. And so he'll be celebrated in the world. And he must note this. His place in history is important. And as a final note, the international community is watching. Thank you. Here you go. No, PA. Do you speak Igbo? Do you understand Igbo?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to ask you a question. Put it
a witness was recorded, you spoil it. Do you understand? Yes or no, why would that? Just answer the question. Do you understand it?
I don't speak very well.
Maybe you understand it? That's all. Now you can say another dimension. I don't understand very well, I can't see. He was able to find out that you can't see. You don't understand. He found out. He decoded that you don't understand.